hi everyone. So last week we've been talked about short stories. We've been talked about the setting and the plot of short stories. Well, usually it works the same for longer stories and novels. But in this unit we're focusing on shorter stories, so we're going to try to decode short stories more. And for today's lesson we're going to look at two articles in this unit. One is superstitions and the other is building bridges. I hope you have read both articles and you have tackled all the new words or any phrases you're not familiar with, because we're going to focus more on the literature side and we're going to focus on the writing. Okay, writing and composition of both articles. Alright, so we're going to start from superstitions. So for this article particularly, it's not a short story. So it's a magazine article. Do you still read magazine nowadays or not? No. Yes, some people say yes, some people say no. If you say yes, what kind of magazine are you still reading? Okay, somebody said the National Geographic. Yes, I like that magazine. You will see some of the examples from that magazine today. I think is an excellent magazine. Apart from that, what else? Times, okay? And probably somebody reads Economist, or something else. So do you read these magazines or newspaper? When somebody say newspaper, I mean, they're quite similar. Do you read these things, for fun? Or you read them to get information, or you read them, for learning the language? Because sometimes the aim and purpose of reading really matters. When you have different kind of purpose, you read differently, right? Okay, let's see the answer. So some people say mostly for fun, but also someone said for information and language, or both. Okay. The reason why I asked this question is that if you read these things as a learning material, I mean, you would read them in great detail, right? You're going to focus on each sentence, you're going to focus on words and things like that. But in real life, if you read a magazine or newspaper in Chinese, let's say, or read in your L1, L1, right? Your first language. You won't read like that, right? So you read with the real purpose of getting information or for fun, for an enjoying reading. Then in this case, we probably need different reading strategies, and we're going to read differently because we don't need to go through all the information, each sentence, and even if we see an unfamiliar let's say scientific or technical term, we don't really need to know the accurate meaning of it, right? Okay, so here we're basically going to talk about how to read magazines like a native speaker. So not for learning language, but for getting information and things like that. All right. So the first thing you need to do is analyze text features. So first question is, what are text features? You need to know these names or terms of literature and of reading so that you could discuss these things with other people. And you could use these terms in your English lesson, in your literature lesson, in your A-level, IB, or IGCS, this kind of lesson. All right. Okay. So text features includes main heads, subheads, diagrams, photographs, and captions. So, do you know all of them? For example, let's take Superstition 1, so this part of the passage as an example. So the main heads is actually Superstition 1, ravens predict death. This is the main heads. Usually in the biggest font, okay, you will find here. Right. And then you have subheads. Some people think that Superstition 1 is the main head and then Raven Predict Death is the subhead. But they together act as the main heads. Okay? The subheads are the head for the sections in the body of the paragraph. Sorry, in the body of the article. So the pink ones, this part, are subheads. Okay, so this is called subheads. Or you can say, well, there are two sections, so you can call them section heads. And apart from that, you will see diagrams. Sometimes it's a diagram. For example, like our assignment for last lesson, you're using a diagram to show different events in a short story. So that is a diagram. Sometimes what you will see is an infogram. Okay, so what's the difference between a diagram and an infogram? Can someone tell me? Well, if you don't know, you can just try to speculate. Okay, let's ask Pen. Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Can you speak a bit louder, please?
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard clearly what was the question.
But can you guess? Well, from the spelling of the words? Infogram.
Infogram, I think that it's informational.
Mm-hmm. Yes, what's GRAM stands for?
Informational grammar?
GRAM stands for diagram.
Oh, informational diagram.
Yeah, so how would it be different from normal diagrams?
It is different from normal diagrams because it has some information in it.
Well, all diagrams have information in them.
Then infogram is different from diagram because it has more information in it.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, we call it infogram or infographics, as Ryan said in the chat box. So usually they're not only diagrams or graphs, so they contain information, lots of information. So you could see lots of sentences attached to those diagrams together with the diagram. So not only for example, statistics, shapes, structures, you also see a lot of words together with the diagram. So that would be called infographics or infogram. And you need to, and it takes you longer time to read and understand such graphs. Okay. And photographs, yes. So here, this is photographs. And captions. What is caption? What is caption? Anyone? Ryan? Hello?
Hello.
So can you explain caption?
So, caption is, I think it's the words, explaining the picture, like below. In newspapers, there's always, like, for example, in Reading Explorer, there's a picture, and then in the down part, it's always written, what this is, or who is this, or what they are doing.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Ryan. So for most times, captions are 1 to 2 sentences introducing and explaining the photographs or the pictures. So it usually contains the background information for that photo. For example, what this is, when and where is the photo taken, and what's the photo is showing, something like that. So that is your caption. Okay, so these kind of text features are all belongs to a magazine article. Okay, so they together help you to understand what the article is about. So you see that all together. Okay, so after you figure out these text features, the next step you need to do is to set yourself a purpose to read. Usually this is very easy because when the writer and editor are writing titles, and when they are selecting photographs, and when they're making these subheads, all they're trying to do is to help you to form questions, hypotheses, and thoughts about these articles, so that you would have interest to read. Okay, so when you see an article like this, automatically you would have questions, and that is your purpose, your personal reason to read the article. Just as this one, okay? For superstitions, so you see the title, you've seen the main heads, the subheads, and then here are your questions. So what are the superstitions, and which superstitions do I know? Or you could have more questions like, do I agree with all the explanations? Are the superstitions also popular or common in my area, in my city? Or does my culture have similar superstitions, things like that? It's very important to raise these questions when you read an article or novel or something, because this is what keeps you reading. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to show you some other examples of magazine articles, and I want you to use this form to help you. Okay? So I want you to read. We'll have a brief look at the articles, and I want you to write down what kind of text features that article has, and what is your purpose of reading it. Okay? You ready? Right, the first one. Okay. Would someone like to share their thoughts about this magazine article? Let's ask Thomas. Is that Thomas?
Yes.
Hi Thomas. Okay. What kind of text features this article has?
So this this is a magazine, and so its title is a wake-up call on water quality, of course.
So it has a main head.
Yeah, so main head is 1/4 of Americans drink water from systems that doesn't meet safety laws. All of us together can change that. That is the main head.
Really?
And
so which one is the main head? A wake-up call on water quality or the sentence below it?
I think it is the lines below it.
So what would be this one? A wake-up call on water quality. What would that be called?
I think it is a title.
Okay. What's the difference between a title and a main head?
A main head introduces the points below it's going to explain, and the title is the summary of all the articles.
Okay. All right. So what about your questions? Do you have any personal questions about this article once you see the heads of it?
No, actually, I don't have much questions.
Okay. What if you have to set a purpose to read?
If I have to set a purpose, then my question is the water quality really bad in that area?
Okay. Yes, that's a good question. All right. Okay. Thank you, Thomas. Okay. So, just some of you are discussing what's the difference between title, headline, and main heads and subheads? Well, the title and headline and main heads, I mean, they are all the same thing. Okay, a title is main head, is headline. But headline is usually for newspaper, while main head is for magazine. So they're all the same thing, which is a wake-up call on water quality here. So the one sentence below is actually an abstract. It is a very short sentence introducing or summarizing the most important information or the main contents of the article. Okay? So let's think about this. Why they need to have an abstract when they've already had a title or main heads? What's the function of the abstract? Ethan?
I don't quite know.
Do you feel like you are more interested in the article after you read the abstract?
Not really, but I understand what the main idea is.
Yes. So do you think that you would make a more informative decision on whether to read it?
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ethan. Normally, I mean, the main function of the abstract is to give you more information on what the article is covering so that you would make a clearer decision. You would make a more informative decision on whether you're going to read it. Because sometimes, headings are short, right? Headings are usually very short, and you can't get the general idea of the passage sometimes from the heading. So you will have a one sentence abstract. Okay, let's try another. Let's try another article. Judy?
Hi, can you hear
Hi,
me
Judy.
loud and clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what kind of text features does this one have?
Well, it has a main head called How Can We Make Our Bodies Better?
Hmm.
And then there are some pictures, and here I can also see some captions on the biggest picture.
Yes, this is the caption for this one. Okay. Do you have a question for the article?
Yes, I want to know if our bodies are really unhealthy and how can we make our bodies better? Maybe eating some healthy foods like this.
Yes. So the main area would be the healthy food, which can make our body better, right? And according to the photo, what kind of food do you think the article is talking about?
I think it's talking about vegetables and fruits, according to this picture.
Yes, natural and wild food ingredients. Okay, thank you, Judy. So, as long as you have all this information and you can make your decision, are you interested in this topic? Do you want to read it or not? If you don't want to read it, and you go to the next page. Okay, so this is why they have all this thing. And, well, as you will notice, this article seems much more attractive than the last one. Simply because, well, you have these colorful photos for this article, right? So if you are the editor, or if you are the writer, you want to make your article more attractive, you would have some photos. All right, what about this one? Let's ask Lu Jiaqi. Are you there? Hi there. Hello? Oh, we can't hear you now. Okay, I only can hear myself, but I can't hear you speaking. Probably you have a problem with your speaker. So let's try Nicholas.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
So
Okay.
So I think the main head as a new journal revealed, and then the subhead is the sentence below the main head, and there are some captions next to the page, next to the photos.
Do you think this part is subheads or abstract?
I think it is abstract.
It is an abstract. Okay. What do you think of the dino in a heading?
Well, I think it is about the dinosaurs.
Yeah, dino means dinosaur. All right. So here are some of the captions. So do you have a purpose to the article?
Yeah. So what kind of dinosaurs are they finding, and what is dinosaurs, and maybe when it appeared, and something about its daily life, and just like that.
So will you read this article?
Yeah, because I think it might be pretty exciting, because these are all about some discoveries about dinosaurs, and I like it.
Right. Do you like this kind of layout? Do you think the editing of the page, the arrangement of the pictures and the words are good?
Yes, I think it is pretty good, and I think it is easy for me to read it.
Do you like this layout or this layout?
I think
the layout of the dinosaur article or the food article?
Well, I think I like the dinosaur article because I think the words are mainly put into one place and the pictures are put in another, not like another article that's there scattered around.
Yes. All right. Okay. Nicholas. Yes. I mean, if you judge articles from a editor's point of view, from a reader point of view, that gives you much insight of how to arrange your article and what kind of text features you need to have for your article if you are the writer, right? I think that this article looks more appealing simply because you have bigger pictures, you have more pictures, and you have less words. And I mean, the layout, the arrangement is quite creative. So the pictures is in the middle, and you have the words at the sides. We like reading pictures, right? And we would prefer less words in something. And also, I think the background color also makes this one really stand out. Do you like the article with a black background or with a white background? Black. Or, someone would prefer white, but it's just a black, the black background color makes it a bit special, a bit unusual, right? And because this is about a discovery of a dinosaur, so it's like mysterious kind of feeling. Yeah. Right. Okay. All right. And you see a lot of, I would say that this would be a little bit similar to a infograph or infogram, because it contains a lot of information and it takes you a while to digest it. Okay, so what about this one? So I want to show you the body of the article, just the main heads and the picture. Okay. What do you think this article is about, and do you want to read it? Why do you want to read it? Let's ask Ryan.
After I see this, I mean, I would love to read it. Firstly, the heading, it says "No Way Out." It's kind of like Maze Runner, and it hooks me or the reader. And secondly, the picture is people are nervous, and there's like police lines saying that you cannot enter this part, and there's an ambulance, and it's dark in the night. So yeah, it looks creepy. It also looks fun. And after I read like these small captions, gang warfare and poverty are decimating El Salvador. Many migrants have fled towards the United States, but chances in U.S. policy to send thousands back into the chaos. These words they use like chaos or thousands and warfare, like it attracts me too.
Right. What kind of question did you raise when you see the title "No Way Out"?
Why is it no way out? I mean, after I read this part, I know that it's about immigrants cannot go to U.S. anymore. But I would love to know more detailed things about this problem occurred in the U.S.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Ryan. Yes, this is a very good combination of main head, abstract, and photo. Yes, because you see the photo, it gives you a kind of tension. It's very intensive, and you could feel like it is a very intense scene. And you see the people, something happened, and you immediately want to know what's going on, what happened, and who are they, right? And what happened to them? Why there's no way out? No way out to where, what gonna they do later, and everything. This is usually something you see on newspaper as well, about the social news or something. Okay, it will just give you an idea of a bit of a taste to magazine article. Okay, so that you know what kind of article looks more attractive and looks better. Okay, so yeah, this is another technical one about exploring the space. Right. So before we read an article or a novel, there's another thing we could do. It's called make a connection. Make a connection means you try to personalize the topic, or you're trying to personalize the story. Okay, so you always connect it to either you, your family, your age, your culture, your country, people like you, this kind of thing. For example, if we're going to read an article based on superstitions, okay, you can ask yourself this question. So, do you agree with this statement? The number 13 is unlucky. Agree or disagree? A or D? Well, probably most of you would say D, right? Because we don't really hear this quite often. But if I say the number 4 is unhealthy, will you agree? No, but have you heard of that? Is that a common saying or common superstitions, let's say, here in China, in our culture? Yes. Yes. I think one example is that when I visit some buildings, well, a lot of resident apartment buildings, you won't see the 4th floor. Instead, you will see 3A. Something like that. Yeah, Ryan says no 4th floor in our apartment. Exactly. The reason is that if you have a 4th floor and then, well, the apartment can't be sold. They'll be left there forever. Okay. Yes. Number 2. What about number 2? A 4-leaf clover is lucky. What about that? Agree. Why? Why people think that 4-leaf clover is lucky? Do you know what is a 4-leaf clover? Looks like this. Okay, I'm trying to. That's the best I can do. Yes, because it's special. Yeah, because it's rare. Normally we would have 3-leaf clover. Okay, so it's also very common. Hard work always leads to success. Do you agree? We wouldn't call them superstition, we would call them statements. Do you agree with this one? This is a tricky one. Somebody say agree, somebody say disagree, and some say not always. Sometimes you agree, sometimes you disagree. That means you disagree because they said hard work always leads to success. Not always. Yes, I would say not always. You need something else, probably. Number 4, you can be anything you want to be. Agree or disagree? Did someone say that to you? Have someone said that to you? You can be anything you want to be. No? I think you should say yes. I think that maybe your parents, your family, your teachers, well, your tutors, your friends, I think it's a very common saying just to encourage people. But do you really agree with it? I mean, it's difficult to say. But generally, I I would say 40% disagree and 60% agree. Which page is the diagram on? This is not a diagram. And, well, don't care about the pages. I put it here just because this is one step that you do before you read. Okay? All these 3 steps are pre-reading tasks. So you check all the features first, and then you set your own purpose and probably trying to make a connection to yourself. And then you start to read. Okay. Yeah. Because parasite, you're well, I don't really think they mean that. Okay. So if you notice here, this box is actually making a connection across texts, right? So it tells you how this article connects to the short story we read last time. So the experiment. So a man's belief determines his action. In this magazine article, find out the truth about some beliefs called superstitions. So what's in common? So what did this article and the experiment have in common? Well, they are all about belief. They have the same topic. And also here I want to clarify two very similar concepts. So what's the difference between topic and theme? Because for short story, you're going to have a theme, right? Because these are all very similar and very commonly used concept. Sorry, that's topic and theme. So we need to clarify all of these before we read. Anyone? Let's ask Eva. Hi, Eva.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, what do you think?
Well, I think topic and theme, although they are similar, but they are different. I think it can be many topics, such as an article that is, its theme is called water, but topic, it can be many things about water. It can be saving water and water quality and other things. So I think they are different, quite different.
So it seems like theme is a more general idea, while topic is different, different contents that the writer is going to talk about. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Eva. What do you think? Let's hear from Coco. Would Coco pick up the call? Hi, Coco.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. So what's the difference between topic and theme?
I think like it was like more like the topic was more likely to be the subject matter of a conversation or a discussion, maybe.
And what about theme?
I think theme is a unifying idea that is a recurrent element in a literary or artistic work, maybe.
All right. Okay, thank you, Coco. if you have noticed, I just said that both the experiment and Superstitions, the magazine article, have the same topic of belief. Okay? So actually, the topic of a piece of literature is the subject of the text, what the text is generally about, while the theme is the writer's message about the topic. Okay? So it expresses the lesson the writer wants to share with the reader, or his opinion, his attitudes towards the topic. For example, well, the topic of experiment is belief, a man's belief. But the theme is a man's belief determines his actions. So this is actually the theme. Okay? So you have read Superstitions. So the topic of Superstitions would be, some beliefs, right? Beliefs that people used to explain something. But the theme is that these superstitions or these beliefs are, not really true, and because of where they come from and how to explain them. Okay? The theme is the message, while the topic is the general subject. Okay, you get it. Alright, and over the 5 superstitions and their explanations you have read, which one do you think has something to do with demons? Any idea? Which one has something to do with demons? Or maybe you tell me the number of the superstition in the chat box. Which one? Guys, you got different answers. Okay, somebody said number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 5. Demon. About demon only. In which one you see the words demon? Number 3. Okay? Number 3 is about demon. Right, so it shows here. Okay. Salt-stealing demons. If you read these superstitions, you found it really funny. It's really funny because we humans tend to think that demons are exactly just like us. They want to steal the salt, right? So it's clearly that kind of a statement or belief come from, our own understanding. Okay, another question. Which one has something to do with the soul? With our soul? Which one? Number 2, number 4, number 5, which one? Number 4. Yes, number 4. Because if you look at the mirror, you will lose your soul. What are other things that people say that you may lose your soul if you look at? If you look at the mirror, or if you look at have you heard of this? Like in Qing Dynasty in China, people said that if you do what? You would actually lose your soul? Yes, taking photo. Pretty girls. Yes. If you got caught by the camera, and they may catch your soul. Okay. The cat emperor. Right, this is number 4. And which of these superstitions do you think is the most ridiculous one? And why? Let me ask someone. Amelia.
Well,
Hi, Amelia. What do you think?
I think that the superstition 4 is the most ridiculous one.
Why is the most ridiculous one?
Because the mirror is its own, and the mirror can reflect yourself. It's only something scientifically proved, like it's a phenomenon of light rather than you're seeing it. So I think it's pretty ridiculous.
How do you think this graph helps you understand the explanation or the truth?
It says that it just let me have a better understanding of how the mirror reflects the light. How is your reflection in the mirror?
Right. Okay. Thank you, Amelia. I mean, for this one, you can have different opinions because you can say which one or which one. But for the previous 2 questions, well, there are correct answers. So when you're trying to find the answer, you really need to find the evidence, or you need to find the proof in the article. Okay, instead of just having your own understanding over it. For the last question, which one do you think is the most ridiculous? Because that question is a personal question for you. So you could say any of these and then you could give your own personal reasons. But if I ask which one is about demon and which one is about soul, I mean, that's a question testing your comprehension and also testing your idea of tracing details in a passage. Then, well, you have to find your evidence and you have to find proof. Okay? You need to use words or facts or information from the article to support yourself, to back you up. So you can't just say, well, I think superstition number 3 is about demon. And because I feel so. Well, you won't get your mark. So you will say, well, number 3 has something to do with demon because in where it came from part, it said that if you do what, and then you would prevent demons from stealing your salt. Okay, so that has something to do. So demon is mentioned in that part, in that section. So this is how you answer questions for an English lesson. Great. All right. So this is number 1. You see, you need to use text evidence to tell the truth. You need to use evidence. That's the most important thing. Right. Okay. So this is not a really difficult article, but is a very interesting piece. Have you found that? I really like number 5. Knocking on wood keeps misfortune away. And I like the explanation because I like the picture. It's not I like this picture, but I found this picture very, very impressive. Right? So if you see this picture, whether you like this worm or not, it will leave this impression in your mind. So you won't forget. So you won't forget it. You won't, just as someone said, this one looks disgusting to you. That is a way of leaving an impression on you, right? So I think in this part, superstition number 5, picture really, really works well. This photo really works well. Okay? For example, for raven, I mean, it's okay. It won't surprise you because you know what raven is like. But for this one, it really explains why there's a noise, there's a sound. Okay, because it's make a loud gnawing sound when it chews on wood. If you don't see this photo, you won't understand how could that be a loud gnawing sound. But once you see the picture, you get the idea. Yeah. Okay. So you see the question. Do the caption and photo of the lava help you understand explanation and explain why? These are the kind of a question you will get for your A-level IB AP course. So when you give your answer, you really need to know how to justify your answer by using the information from the article to back yourself up. Okay, all right. That's all for superstition. And now you could go back to your anticipation guides. And now you can think, do you want to change your response? And why you want to, or why you don't want to change the response. And also you could do a little reflection on the questions you raised before you read the article. So, can you answer all of the questions for the article? For example, for the dinosaur one, okay? So if you want to know, so what types of dinosaur is it and how it was discovered, and so which family does it fit into, and will that change any of our current knowledge about the dinosaur family? If you have these 4 questions before you read, and you should try to answer them after you read. So it's a way of evaluating, it's a self-evaluation. Alright, we're going to move on to building bridges, which is a few words to mention for grammar. Predicate. Anyone? What is predicate? Or complete predicate? Has anyone seen this word before? Let's ask Judy. Judy said no. Okay. So, Pen.
I have seen it before.
Mm-hmm. It means?
It stands for the verb that means an action, and it's the main verb for a sentence.
What's the difference between predicate and verb? I mean, as you said, predicate usually, predicates are verbs.
Predicates, a sentence has only one predicate, but a sentence may have many verbs.
What about subject and noun?
Subject, a sentence have only one subject, but a sentence may have a lot of nouns.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Pen. Yes. So the relationship between predicate and verb is exactly as the relationship between a subject and a noun. Noun and verbs describe the part of speech of a word. It's relate to the word, not relate to the sentence. Okay? But predicate and subjects and objects, they describe the function of the word in a sentence. So you would only have one subject and one predicate in a sentence. I'll explain that in Chinese again so that you would make the connection. Predicate 就是谓语 Okay? Verb 是动词 What's the difference between them? 主语啊 subject 就是主语啊 predicate 是谓语像主语谓语这种它是描述这个词在句子中的作用对吧这属于句法 但是呢，我们说啊，动词啊，名词，这个是词性，词性描述的是一个词单个词的性质，跟这个句子没有关系的，大家能明白吧？ So most predicates are verb, right? We can say so most subjects are noun, but not all of the subjects are noun. And noun can be subjects, can be objects, can be, well, they have many different kind of functions. So that just explains that. All right. Yeah, so complete sentence would have a subject and a predicate. Right. So we're coming to building bridges. So assume that you have read all of it. And can someone try to summarize the story? What is the story about in general? Who want to do it? What about Eva?
Well, this article is mainly about a girl want to join a project that is meant to build a bridge, but her grandma, Mama Lil, don't agree with her, don't want her to go, and refuse to sign the permission form. And at the day before the project, Mama Lil finally agreed to sign it, and the girl went to the project and built a bridge.
Yes, that's generally the storyline. Thank you, Eva. Okay. Let's start from the title. Building bridges. Well, of course, you mean the bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge in the article, right? Is there any other meaning contained in this title? Ryan?
After I read this Building Bridges, I think that there is another meaning inside this because firstly, the girl wanted to be an engineer. So engineers are related to building bridges, and also building bridges means building trust between each other. She built a trust between her stepmother and also herself. Their feelings became connected, or the bond between she and her stepmother became strong at the end.
Right. Yes, I agree with you, Ryan. I think that the bridges, okay, has two meanings. So one is the bridges, the actual bridges, well, the girl is going to build. It's the Brooklyn Bridge, as in the engineering project. While the other meaning would be, while Ryan says trust, I agree, trust, but also I think, or more importantly, understanding. So they're trying to build understanding and trust between each other. I think they have a very close bonding to each other because they're the closest relatives, right? So they have this family bonding between each other. I think they have trust, but they don't have much understanding. For example, like Mama Lil does not really understand her granddaughter's dream of being an engineer, things like that, right? So yes, two meanings. Do you like this painting? Do you like this piece of art? We're going to discuss that a bit. Okay, so how does the artist use shapes, lines, colors, and also texture in this painting? And what effect does the arrangement have? This is a piece of art from Faith Ringgold. Okay, it's called The Winner. So it's a part of a series of painting called Women on a Bridge. The series celebrates the determination of women, just as the writer does in the story of building bridges. So anyone would like to try to analyze the painting? Maybe Thomas?
Okay, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. So can you try to analyze from the shapes, colors, lines, and also textures of the paint?
Shape, lines, and textures, I could see that. I could see that this place is. I think the painting gives people a feeling that is very busy there. A lot of people were there because.
What kind of shapes can you see in a picture?
Lines they draw on the bridge, the lines holding up the bridge. It's really intense, so it gave people the impression that there are a lot of people at the event that's happening, and there's a lot of people. They're very intense. And so the colors, the background is blue and added a little more of others. And the shapes, I could say, the shape is, there wasn't much shapes, just rectangles. And I could feel that the girl at the front is very excited because we could see that on the bridge there is a line called, I don't know where it is. I don't know how to describe it. There's a line called winner, and she is crossing.
Right. Okay. That's great. Thank you, Thomas. Yes, that's generally how you try to analyze or how you trying to describe or decode a painting, an artwork, connecting to a piece of writing. So shape, color, lines, and textures. For this one, well, you see many kinds of shapes there. Squares, rectangles, triangles, and also humans, right? And buildings in the background. And the color is just as Thomas said, there's light blue there, and while you see brown and those very bright color in the front, but it's also a bit dull. Okay, it looks like it's painted with chalk or some kind of a watercolor, maybe chalk, right? Okay, so the lines are, you see straight lines, you see curved, and the overall picture looks smooth, but also rough. So overall, it creates, just as Thomas said, a kind of tension, and you see that it is very busy on the bridge. Okay, all right. So trying to remember to use this graphic organizer, okay, to analyze paintings and artworks. Right. So the next part is this: writer and her inspiration. Why do we need to read this before we read the story? What's the purpose of putting this information here? Anyone? Nicholas?
So I think the use that he put this was that maybe the life of the writer was similar to the life of the girl in the passage. And also maybe it tells something about why the writer wants to write this and give you some background information.
Have you read this part? You read about this information about writer?
Yeah, I've read it.
Okay. What's the most impressive information you get from the writer?
And it is that she admits that she is a horrible speller and has a very bad grammarian, but she was still a writer and write stories. So it was kind of surprising that she cannot really spell well, but she was still a good writer.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Nicholas. Yes, I mean, the reason to have a brief introduction for the writer, well, is to give you the purpose and the reason why the writer have so many works. So I'm going to introduce the writer a bit more. So Andrea has been inspired by real people in addition to TV characters. Okay, so this includes African American writers, musicians, artists, and even cowboys. So he treasures the advice given by writer Zora Neale Hodgson to aim high in life, to jump at the sun. So this is the advice. So in her fiction, Picnic often shows teenagers who struggle to find their true selves and to fulfill their dreams. Okay? And maybe you can think about why the author is so interested in writing about teenager struggles. Well, just as Nicholas said, she wants teenagers to know that they can overcome difficulties just as herself. And she wants to inspire teenagers to focus on their futures and achieve their own dreams. And I really like this part of the introduction, saying that she is actually a very bad grammar, because a lot of people think that if they don't have a good command of English or any language, it's impossible to become a writer. I think many of you have the same feeling, but no, it's not right. Writing, or let's say all kinds of creativity, it doesn't matter if it's literature, art, music, play, story, it doesn't matter. That's all about conveying message, conveying your ideas. It's not about writing a 100% correct sentence. It's not about using really advanced vocabularies. You don't need to know more vocabulary to write your story. I suppose most of you have known like enough words to write a really good story. What you really need is your idea, inspirations, and you need to know a little bit of techniques and skills to write a good story, and that's all. Don't worry about the spelling or the grammar, because your laptop gonna do all of that for you, and also your editors will do that. Right? So if you like writing, if you want to write anything, don't let the grammar and spelling and language stop you from doing that. Okay? Alright. And this is the only reason that I want to emphasize on this part. And also writing is a very personal thing. Is about passion, is about a willingness to tell story rather than, finishing an assignment or something. Okay. So in this short story, we're gonna look at another very important concept for fiction and story. It's character. So we have talked about settings and plots, but we haven't talked about character. Okay. So character basically are the people in the story, right? So the writer is going to build up the character by, describing the appearance of them and also describing what they do and what they say. So these three are the most important skill to build a character. Okay? How they look, what they do, and what they say. If you do this well, and you would have a vivid character, you would have a character that people would remember and people would love or hate as if they're real people. And that means you have succeeded in creating your character. Okay, so looking at this part, tell me these three things. How Mama Lil look, and what she do, and what she say. So what kind of character the writer created? Let's ask Jiaqi. Hello? Hello, can you hear me? We can't hear you. Don't know why. Alright, might be a problem with your speaker. So let's try Ethan. Are you there, Ethan? Ethan is not there. Yes, so why can't you pick up the call? Can you try to raise up your hands again so that I could try to... Alright, let me fix it. Okay, maybe we go with Nicholas.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. So how does Mama Lee look?
So I think Mama Lee was kind of old-fashioned and cannot really keep up with the things nowadays because according to the thing that she said that she aren't really happy with the clothes she wear, and she wasn't really happy with the behavior that her granddaughter do. So maybe Mama Lee was kind of old-fashioned, so she cannot really understand why the teenagers nowadays do that.
Can you support your opinion with something in the text? Can you refer to words, phrases, information in the text? For example, like which words or which phrases make you think that she is old-fashioned?
So I think she overdid with her fake gold chains because they were fake, and you are still doing that. And people nowadays will not spend a lot of time doing that if they know that they're fake.
What about something she do? It's not much things she do, right? And what she said?
Well, I think...
Can you read what she said?
How can you ever gonna land a decent man with them chucking arms and those t-shirts that you put your navel on parade? No self-respecting 17-year-old should be letting it all hang out like that. So that was like...
So what kind of person...
So the girl was wearing t-shirt, and they just didn't and the grandma just didn't like that, and she's saying that a 17-year-old shouldn't be like that, and she think that 17-year-old should be like the things in her words.
Right. Okay, thank you, Nicholas. That is correct. What else can we know from her words? There's a lot of information in her words. How you ever gonna land a decent man? What does land a decent man mean? Anyone? And chunky arms and those t-shirts that puts your navel on parade. And should letting it all hang out like that? You don't know. What about Thomas?
Okay, so that means like land a decent man in. A decent man means like like a normal man, not crazy, not having any more special ideas. So, like I think she means like
what does land mean here?
Land, like, so it means like get yourself a man, get yourself a man. Like,
so what do we know from that part?
So from this, I think we could know that so Mama Lil, she.
Do you think she believes that finding a good man to marry is very important for a girl?
Yeah, I think it is because so here it means that if you want to get a man to marry, you couldn't hang out like this. So I think and throughout the passage, we could see that she wants Vivi to be a more of a normal kind, not to express herself.
More traditional kinds of girl. Right. Okay. Thank you, Thomas. Yes. I mean, if you read this part carefully, from how Mama Lil look, well, she has her fake gold chains. Then we know that she wants to look good, right? But, well, obviously she cannot afford expensive jewelry. If she could, she would have bought some real gold chains. So she cares about her appearance, like all other women. So, right? So she have her requirements for appearance, but obviously she's not really rich. So that's what we get from how she look. And what she say, I mean, there's so much more information than that. So first things, Mama Lil think that, well, I waited too much and dressed badly. So she say so. Think about this. If your parents, or if, let's say, your friends, they also think that you weigh too much or you dress badly, will they say something like this? This direct? Will you say that directly? Probably no. Even if, I don't know your parents, but probably your parents or your grandparents wouldn't say something like this directly. So, the first thing is, she says what she thinks. And that tells us that she's an honest person. She's very honest with herself, right? She don't tell lies, or she don't really want to spend time on soften her words, or trying to say something indirectly, more polite, something like that. Okay, this is the first thing we know. And also, she asks us about landing a decent man. Now, land here means to get something, but not only get. It means get something a lot of people want successfully. That's land. Land a man. So, in her heart, deeply in her heart, she believes that, number one, any girl need to marry a man. And a decent man is very difficult to find. A lot of people will want to get that. So you really need to put your heart into it. Marrying a good man is a very important thing for a girl. Right? So these are all the beliefs that she thinks. And also, she thinks that how you look will have a direct relationship with your marriage. Right? Because what kind of t-shirts is the girl wearing? Let's say t-shirts put your navel on parade. Navel 就是你的肚脐. On parade means shown out. You're showing your navel. Means your t-shirts is really short. Your t-shirts is above your navel. 就是我们说的那种露肚脐的那种 t-shirt. Okay? So she thinks that this is very inappropriate to wear, and she thinks that this is going to affect your marriage. And also, like, she cares about the shape and the weight of me, of baby. What does that mean? It means she cares about the appearance, right? And she thinks that has a lot to do with finding a good man. So that's all some very traditional beliefs of people of her age. You won't say the same thing to your granddaughter, right? Or even your parents won't say the same thing to you. Like, you shouldn't put your navel on parade because you won't find a good man to marry, or something like that. So this gives you lots of hidden information about, her age, her background, like the education she had, and her, for example, like her community, the community she live, friends she have, value systems of her. Okay, all of that hidden information builds up the person. And also, I would say that Mama Lil is a good person. Right? Although she might be old-fashioned, but she really cares about her granddaughter. Yes? Okay. So, it's so many details and hidden information the writer plants or embedded into the character's words and the descriptions and something like this, for you, the readers, to explore. Okay? So suddenly it feels like Mama Lil is quite familiar to you. It's like someone, could be your grandparents, could be a normal elder citizen you know, could be people that you passing by every day. It's quite normal. It's real. She's not perfect. But she cares about her daughter. Right? She's kind of strong, old-fashioned, honest, straight away, with a little bit humor. Because put your navel on parade is, on parade means on the road, means means showing to everyone. It's kind of humor, but it's a fun person. So you see, you have a very 360-degree look of the person. It's not a flat figure. It's very real. Okay, so this is how you analyze a character. You describe what the character looks like. Okay, and you tell what the character does, and then you show what the character says and thinks. Sometimes you only show what they say because you use a third person. But if you want to show, well, I mean, you can't show how they think with third person. With first person and third person, you can do that as well. But if you want to make the reader more into the story, you want them to really connect it to the story, you use first person, as in this story. Okay? If you want the reader to see the whole picture from a more objective point of view, you use third person. Or you want to focus more on the storyline, the general storyline, without having more focus on any of the character, you use third person, as in the short story experiments. Okay? Alright. And also, have you noticed that Mama Lil is speaking a dialect? So it's not the standard English. It's not the standard language everyone would use. It's actually a dialect. So it's not spoken by everyone. The way she speaks, it's about one specific group of people. Could be people from one area, could be people of a certain age, could be people works in a certain field, like this. Right? I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of how the way of speaking tells you more information. For example, like me, I'm an ELT teacher. Okay? So, I always use the concept of CEFR level. I don't know if you have heard of that. The Common European Framework of Reference for Language. For example, we have A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. No? Okay. If you pass the CAE, so you are around C1. C1 is a quite high level of language proficiency. If you're a native speaker, then you're C2. C2 is the highest level. Okay? And while A1 is the basic level. If you could only say, hello, goodbye, I love you, and then you're at A1. Okay? Right. FCE is about B2. Right. So, for example, if I want to tell people about my cooking skill or driving skill, I would say, I think my cooking skill is just A1. Or I would say, I think my driving skill is pre-A1. What does it mean if I say my driving skill is pre-A1? That means I'm a very bad driver, right? I'm an awful driver. I barely know how to drive. Yes. But what does the words, build up the character of me? How do you, what hidden information does that tell you about me? If I say my driving skill is probably pre-A1. It's not really humor, because if you know what A1 is, you would kind of get that information. It shows you that I am an ELT teacher. I'm a teacher. I work with language, so I would use the term that in such area to communicate with people. This is like a code only people in this field will know, right? So next time, if you tell me, you say, hi, my, my dating skill is C1. What does that mean? You're you're really good at dating, right? Okay. But the point I gave for this example is that the way we speak, the dialect we speak, gives you more information, more background information of the person. Okay. Trying to observe this in your L1. If your L1 is Chinese, is Mandarin, is Cantonese, it doesn't matter. Trying to observe how different people speak, and you will find they speak very differently. Okay? All right. We're coming to the story, actually. Okay, so if you look at the very top area on page 34, and you will find there's a banner called Set a Purpose. Right? It said Bibi and her grandmother are fighting about Bibi's future. Find out what each one wants. This is something you should do during your reading, even if there's no such a banner, and you should ask yourself to predict, to set a purpose, to have a statement, and then to verify it later when you read. Okay, so since you have already finished reading, so we won't do that anymore, but this is something that you shouldn't miss. Okay. About this, when you finish reading this part, do you think Mama Lil's words are gentle or harsh? Or what do the words she uses show about her? Well, obviously it's harsh. It's tough, harsh. It's very difficult to swallow, right? But what does it tell you? It tells you that, well, she says exactly what she thinks. She's that kind of person. Right? And I like to raise few points with the description here. So Mama Lil pushed her breakfast plate aside and took a drag on her cigarettes. Okay? So this is a description of what she does. Why? What does this part want to tell you? She pushed her breakfast plate aside and took a final drag on her cigarettes. Why? Why would the speaker say that? Why would the writer say that? To show something about Mama Lil. To show what? To show any idea. Let's ask Judy. Are you there, Judy? No? Judy's not there? Alright, maybe Judy's not there. Okay. When I ask you this question, you just need to think about it. Okay. It doesn't matter if you have the correct answer or not. The point is to think. So the writer give this kind of thing here, details, to show that Mama Lil doesn't really care about my request, about the permission paper. She doesn't care it at all. Okay? And she doesn't really want to talk about it. She doesn't think that this is an important thing. She doesn't take it seriously at this step. But then let's look at another set of movements, another set of actions. So I leaned back in a kitchen chair, my arms folded tight. Okay? And the chair's vinyl stuck into my skin, taping it to the place where my t-shirt scooped down and back. What does that show? Why the writer describes the action of Bibi? And why the writer described the chair and how I stuck into the chair and everything. Let's ask Emily.
Hi.
Yes, what do you think?
I think it was something like, there's something relation with the chair from Mama Lee. It seems what they wanted to grasp the baby in their hands and never let it to go and have its own life.
Yes. And what kind of emotion can you get from the action of Bibi here?
Of course, she wasn't happy. She wants to have her own life. So she wasn't grateful, or even she don't want anyone to grasp her life. She wants to live her own life, not anyone to do it for her.
Yeah, this is because you've read the whole story, right? So you know that her position and her opinion about it. Right, thank you, Emily. That is great. From the action of lean back, like my arm folded tight, you see that Bibi is very angry. Yes? And also she's stubborn. So she doesn't want to change her idea on that. So both of them are quite stubborn. So Mama Lil at this stage doesn't really care about that thing, while Bibi is very stubborn and very angry. She feels like the chair want to keep her in where she was, just as Mama Lil. Yes, the chair wanted to hold me in its clutches. So all the words that she used to describe the chair, is actually used to describe Mama Lil. But why didn't the writer just tell us that, well, Mama Lil is very, she doesn't support me, and she doesn't want to say the form, and she has her own beliefs, and I'm really angry about it. This follows a very important principle in writing stories and novels called show, don't tell. I think I raised it last week, but I would like to raise it again. Okay? Show, don't tell. This is the principle for all arts, I like to say. For painting, for playwriting, for filmmaking, for writing stories, novels, for everything. You show, you don't tell. So you give details, you describes, you give more information, and people will have their own conclusion. If what the reader actually feels what you want to convey, and you succeed in doing that, you're a good writer. Okay. Don't tell things directly. Okay. What you just do is you show. We're going to see more examples of show, don't tell later in this story. Okay. Right. We come to this painting here. It's a very interesting painting, right? From Greg Brenda. Well, she is a young self-taught artist from California. So he paints portraits that show the strengths and spirits of her subject. So for this one, particularly, what you can see and what can you think of the girl? This is another graphic organizer. Okay? So please remember that you need to mention the details you notice, and then you speculate based on the details. Anyone? Let's ask. I really want to have more people, raising their hands so that we could hear opinion from different people. Let's ask Pen. Hmm.
I see the woman. She is maybe she's flipping a white high dress.
Can you speak a little bit louder?
I see that the woman, she isn't actually looking at us,
Hmm.
She looks like rebellious.
Hmm.
And stubborn.
Hmm. What else can you see in the picture?
I can see that she's wearing a grass green t-shirt. With a red side. And with a lot of hair flopping on back.
Yeah. So that makes you think the girl is...
I think the girl is probably a teenager.
And what about her personality?
And her personality is stubborn, just like Betty. And she can't stay at a place for so long.
Right. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Pen. Yes, we could see that her eyes looking away to the side. So she's not looking directly at us. And obviously she's not smiling. Right? So she's a kind of avoiding the direct eye contact. But she has rather strong bone structure on her face. She is wearing bright colored shirt, and she has all her hair like back. So she looks bold and stubborn, as Pen said, and also strong. I think she looks serious and strong. Right? So when you answer this kind of question, it's very important that you make reference to the details in the painting. So you don't just say your feelings and your guesses. You need to refer to the details as well. Okay. Do you think this one is similar? She's similar to Baby? Probably. Right? Probably yes. Okay, although this is not a painting that specifically drawn for this story, but I mean they have some similarities between Bibi and the figure here. So both girls seem serious and strong, and both girls seems angry probably, or a little bit upset, but more angry. Right? Okay. All right. So, another thing I would like to mention for this part is, does the story start with settings? Which part is the setting? Do you still remember setting? What is setting of a story? And which part is the setting of the story? Nicholas?
Well, I think setting was the first part in the story that introduced introduce where they are and some of the background information.
Do you think the first paragraph contains where and when the story happens and also background information?
Well, I didn't think that the story has a setting because it just began with a conversation. So I think it just goes straight into the story.
So you think that the story begins with conflict, and so that the story doesn't have a setting?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Nicholas. Eva, do you agree with Nicholas? There's no setting for this story.
Well, I I actually quite agree with him. I don't think there is an actual setting. The setting is in her house, in baby's house. That is the only.
Yeah. How do you know that it's in baby's house? Is in their home? If you said there's no setting, means that you wouldn't be able to know where and when this story happens, right?
Well, I know that the setting is in baby's house happened in a kitchen in the first 2 paragraphs.
How, like which words tells you that?
Breakfast plate and let's see.
Breakfast plate.
Kitchen
and also
chair. Kitchen chair.
Kitchen chair. Right. So isn't this setting? So don't you think these are setting?
Yes, these are settings. I didn't find them at before.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Eva. Right. First thing first, every story has settings, because setting is about where and when the story happens. Although they're not in the first paragraph, or they're not at the beginning of the story, doesn't mean that there's no setting for one story, as long as you know where and when the story happens. After you read the story, I mean, there are definitely going to be settings. This is a very different kind of opening, right, compared to experiment. So the story starts from the middle of a conflict, start from someone saying something, start from an argument they have. Instead of telling you who is Mama Lil and what is happening here, what are they fighting about, right? What's the advantage of doing so? What's the advantage of starting a story right in the middle of a conflict? Let's ask someone. Ryan?
I think when it starts from an argument, it actually hooks the reader, because if you just do a character introduction, like Mama Lil was born and she is what years old, it's kind of boring. Similar when you're writing to an essay, you don't start from the dolphin is a mammal and it is blah blah blah. But then if you start from, did you know that there are over a million dolphins in the Pacific Ocean, kind of like that, it looks more interesting and the reader wants to read it more.
Right. Yeah, that is correct, Ryan. Yes, I mean, the advantages of starting your stories, especially short stories, right in the middle of a conflict, is that it really attracts readers right at the moment. It makes you really interested, and you want to know, like, who is Mama Lil and why are you arguing and what's gonna happen next, right? So it's a very intensive scene. Think about the films you have watched. For many films, films are another form of story. It's exactly the same thing. So think about the film starts right in the middle of something that you have no idea of. You don't know why they're talking or why they're fighting. You have so many questions in your mind, but after the first 5 minutes of the film, you kind of figure them all out bit by bit. It's the same thing. So the setting is actually in the second and third paragraph. What about the background information? Where are the background information we need for the story? I'm going to tell you where the background information is, okay? So, this is the background information. Yes? I'm living with Mama Lil since I was 6. when my own mama and daddy were killed in an apartment building fire. So these are the background information. It tells you more about the character, about things in the past. Do you still remember? It's like Harry Potter, what kind of life he has been living before. So, and also it tells you the relationship between Mama Lee and I. We're butting heads. Butt means you hit something with your head. So we're butting heads means we always argue with each other. We always disagree with each other, right? And we're more at odds means we disagree more with each other. And this is also background information. It explains how you disagree with each other. Why Mama Lil is always argue with Bibi. And you know more background information here for this story. This is actually answers your question in the first paragraph. What are you arguing about? Right? After you finish reading this paragraph, you know, oh, so it's about engineering project I want to attend during the summer vacation. And I need Mama Lil to sign the permission form. So this is what you're arguing about. But if you put this paragraph and also these two blue paragraphs, so these two green paragraphs at the beginning of the story, and then you probably have dropped the story. You don't want to read about it anymore, right? Because it's not attractive enough. It's not intensive enough. It doesn't catch you for the first moments. So this one kind of writing skill you could adopt if you want to write a short story. All right. And next, what about this painting? Do you think that this is Mama Lil in your mind? Any ideas? Jiaqi? Hello? Oh, we still can't hear you. Sorry. So maybe Ethan? Ethan said no. So hi, Judy.
Hi, I'm sorry that I can't agree with you at last time because my computer has some problem, but now I solved it.
Okay, so what do you think about this painting? Do you think she's Mama Lil in your mind?
Well, I don't really agree because I think Mama Lil may have had the fake gold chain, but she may don't have dressed like this because she's never on the parade. She don't like Bibi to dress like that, so she won't dress like this.
So you think that the woman in the picture is too posh for Mama Lil? It's too relaxed
Maybe.
for her?
Yes.
Okay, so you think that the woman in the picture is what kind of woman is she and what's she doing?
Maybe she is having a holiday on somewhere and relaxing.
Because?
Because she, on her face, I can know from her facial expression, because she closed her eyes and have her heads up and looking very happy too.
Right. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Judy. Yes. It's great that you could use some details in a painting to support your opinion. I mean, you can think that she is your Mama Liu, or you can say no, she's not. The more important thing is that you can justify your answer. I think she's quite like Mama Liu. Like, she got the attitude with her, can't you think? Maybe, well, she looks too graceful and too posh for Mama Liu, but I think the attitudes and the personality seems quite match with her. Right? Okay. Alright. So next part. Next part. Okay, so that's on page 37. Again, you have a predict. Mama Liu and Bibi can't agree. And what do you think will happen? When you answer questions like this on your English lesson, okay, again, trying to use details from the passage to support your answer, not only just say your idea of that. Alright, so here about number 5. Can you find the meaning of such an informal or idiomatic language? Got me really mad. Got me real mad. Sorry, should be got me really mad, right? But she said got me real mad here. Here, got me real mad. That means made me very angry. And done you a big favor. Baby, I went and done you a big favor. Means I did you a big favor. Right? I did for you a good favor. I had a big favor for you. So big favor means something really good for her. So all these informal or sometimes grammatically mistaken language also helps to build up the character. Now, obviously the character is not an English teacher or not a researcher or not a highly educated middle class woman or so. Right? She is a 17-year-old teenager raised by people like Mama Liu. So you would find something in her language very similar to Mama Liu. All these informal and idiomatic and wrongly placed words and grammar and some grammar problem. Very real. Okay, so what does Mama Liu do? Why does this make Bibi real mad? Isn't Mama Liu helping her to find her a job during summer vacation? Why is she so angry? Thomas?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mama Liu, she get Bibi a job to sweep hairs at the local beauty salon. And it get Bibi really mad because she wants to go and fix the Brooklyn Bridge, and she's been trying to convince Mama Liu. But without asking her, she's done something that Bibi does not want to or even hate to do. So when it happens to you to be really angry too, like especially if she or he doesn't ask for your permission. So that's why she's really mad.
Right. Yes. Thank you, Thomas. Yes. Bibi became even more angry when Mama Liu found her a part-time job because she feels that Mama Liu does not care, does not understand, and does not accept the kind of person she really wants to be. She thinks that Mama Liu misunderstood her. She thinks that Mama Liu just found her a job. So she thinks that Bibi may just want to have a job during the summer. Or, well, if you have finished the reading, this kind of job in a beauty salon is something that Mama Lil herself want to do. So she's trying to plant her dream, her idea, onto her granddaughter. She's trying to control her future, and this makes her really angry. Right? She's kind of built a route for her, and all Bibi can do is just to follow the route. Yeah, let Bibi to complete her dream. Yes. So that is a common problem nowadays on adults, I have to admit. That many parents would tend to do this. They have a perfect plan for their children, and all they want them to do is to follow the instructions. And this is not probably the best plan for their children, because, well, everyone have their own dreams, right? Okay. So if you have similar experience like this, if you can connect Bibi to yourself, or your friends, or similar stories happen on you, around you, you will understand her, right? That makes you have an empathy on Bibi. So that's why teenager will read teenager story, because you will make connections. Okay. And please pay attention to the descriptions here. So my forehead and upper lip grew moist with the sweat. Yes. And Mama Lil lit a cigarette. It's the second time we see her lit a cigarette. She inhaled and closed her eyes to say, I'm enjoying my cig. Right? It tastes better with my eyes closed. And I leaned to the doorway, my anger raising. Can you see these descriptions? Like the writer used this detail to show that her anger is building more and more. And on the other hand, Mama Lil lit a cigarette, and she closed eyes to enjoy the cigarette, meaning that she couldn't care less about the thing. She couldn't care less about her anger and disagreement. So in Mama Lil's heart at this moment, this is a closed conversation, right? And her granddaughter and her granddaughter's future is not as important as her cigarette. So this makes Bibi even more angry. It's like someone doesn't care you. You're not as worth as a cigarette. So this is the time that she became really angry about it. For this painting is just a painting with bright color or something about the bridge. Right. So for the next part, it's also a very moving part. Her eyes become weary, right? Her look is pained. She's excited, and her voice trailed off to silence. Trailed off means decreased or dropped to silence. Her face softens and with regret. Yes. All these kind of details, these kind of adjectives, nouns, they're showing, not tell. Show you that Mama Lil suddenly realized that, well, it is wrong to do so, and she was hurt by the words and also reflections of Bibi. You can make this conclusion by yourself, not by the direct things that the writer tells you. And also, I shrugged. This is another thing I would like to mention. So Mama Leo said, your problem gonna take you away from me, and I really don't want to lose you. But what did Bibi do? She shrugged. What does that mean? That basically means I don't care. Okay, what's so big problem about that? Well, I think it's okay. Right? So this again, can you think of this. Okay, so before is like this. Okay, so this is for Mama Lee. This is for Bibi. So at first, Mama Lee doesn't care about the project. Okay? And Bibi really cares about it. And Bibi is really angry and she's really serious. While Mama Lee just lit a cigarette and then, well. But then, at this moment, you see, the situation has changed completely. So Mama Lee really care about this. She's really serious. She's so sad and hurt about this. While Bibi can't have the same thing. Bibi shrugged. A shrug means, what's so big about that? So what? So you see that the situation is full of dynamics, and you see the tension is moving on from one side to another. This really this is really good writing. This is why the writing is so good. Okay, so the tension, the pressure comes from one side to another. It's always moving here and there. Okay. And there's more description like this. For example, like for once, Mama Lee was looking into my face, hearing my words. I believe that for the readers, this is the time that you realize, oh, probably she's going to sign the form. Because she is hearing Bibi, right? So maybe your prediction at this moment would be, we're gonna have a happy ending. We're gonna find Mama Lee sign the form in the next page. But this is not the case. Because in the second morning, on the day that the program started, she find that Mama Lee hasn't signed the form. Although, well, she put her glasses on, right? And looks like she has read the form through, but she hasn't signed it. So again, the writer's trying to give you surprises. At first, you don't think Mama Lee is going to sign it. But then, Mama Lee seems hear the words. And then, she's not signing it. But finally, she says she wants to sign it, but she wants to read them through, to understand everything. So you see, your emotion and prediction goes like this. You go up and down, and you find yourself correct sometimes, and you find yourself wrong sometimes. So you see, the writer is play with your predictions. So again, this is why the writing is really good. Because you feel like you're competing with the writer. You are communicating with the writer. You're interacting with the writer in such way. Full of surprises. Okay? So at the last part, there are more descriptions, like really his eyes looked red, tired. Mama Lee pushed her glass up, right? There was speckled with dots of grease that had sprung from the hot ham. Why why is the writer giving you this detail about her glasses? Why the writer will tell you there are dots of oil on her glass from cooking the ham? Why? I really want to hear what you think about it. Pen? What do you think?
I think that it means that she has worked very hard last evening.
And why does the writer tell us that she was cooking, or she has a lot of cooking to do?
Just to signature that her she has so many things to do, but she still have the time to look up the dictionary.
Okay. Right. Okay, thank you, Pen. I think the reason that the writer can include this detail is to tell us that, after all, Mama Lil is raising baby. Okay? Because she was cooking. The dots are from the cooking of ham. Right? So she was actually making, anyway, she's making breakfast for her. So anyway, she is raising her granddaughter. She's taking the responsibility. Even not as perfectly. Even not, she couldn't understand her dream of becoming an engineer before. But, well, she is still a good caretaker. So if you were Bibi, when you see those dots on her glasses, maybe you will feel a little bit of a guilt. Right? After all, I mean, she is the person who take care of you. So at first, you don't like Mama Lil. You think, well, she really know nothing about Bibi's dream. She really should sign the form. She's like all the parents, all the adults nowadays. They just don't support teenagers' dream. But when you see this detail, and you suddenly feel like, well, anyway, she is still having her responsibilities. So in this case, well, she looks less hatred and she looks a good caretaker. So your feeling for Mama Lil changes all the time as a reader. Okay, so you feel like the character is more real. The character is built. The character is not 100% good person. Is not 100% bad person. It's a complex character. It's like real people in real lives. We have many sides. We make mistakes, but we also take our responsibilities. So this is why I think the story is very moving. Okay. And it sounds very real. And it has different kind of, twists. Like it's twisted. A lot of twists here. Okay. So, your homework for today. This is your homework for today. You have 5 tasks to do. So you explain the vocabulary, and you analyze the character. So don't write too many. Okay? Just find several. When I say several, maybe 5. Okay? Only 5 clues. Okay? And also trying to finish, the plots here. And also, I want you to find a photo or painting matching with the story. Okay? You could search online. You could Google it. You could, you looked, on the magazines or newspaper just to find a photo or painting you think that really relates to the story. Okay, all right. I'm going to see you next week. Bye bye.